today I want to demystify it and say that it is outdated. It may not determine or may not give us the right answer. It is not necessarily the number of employees organization loses, it is the number of top performing employees that leave the company that should be of concern. And that is why we are here. So employee engagement is the driver to business strategy of employee retention, as in retention is an outcome of engagement. Surprisingly, most of organizations fail to realize that employee engagement is the biggest concern. Now, what is this employee engagement? It is the extent to which employees feel passionate about their jobs and are committed to organizations. They are committed to go beyond what their roles are. Engaged employees not only stay with organizations, they are more productive, more conscientious, make fewer errors, and take better care of the customers. It is not about retention anymore. And companies that focus on retention, you will tell me that they're missing it somewhere. It is about retaining the very best employees at each stage of the organization. The key effective retention of top performers is to determine the factors that currently will keep them engaged. So organizations must hone these factors that engage the top performers. By doing this, the company will benefit from increased longevity of these employees at the organization. Essentially, they take ownership in the company. An engaged employee takes ownership in the company, despite whether or not they are shareholders. What is the power of employee engagement? According to Gallup organization published research that showed that engaged employees are more productive, more profitable, more customer focused. They suffer less. They're safer and less likely to leave the employer. Actively engaged, according to Timothy R. Clark, actively engaged employees make the customer's experience, and disengaged employees really break the customer's experience. Engaged employees make you more money, do better work, and contribute to the business goals. And according to Savvy Leaders Guide, 88% of engaged employees understand how their contribution relates to business goals. They understand the strategies that drive the business, and they have insight into immediate and long-term goals of the organization. We want to take you through an employee engagement index that may surprise many of us, because that is according to a survey carried out by Gallup. And you'll realize in many instances, some CEOs are asked how many employees they have. And they only mention that they have half of the employees. Why half of the employees? I think from this index, we will learn why some CEOs, when they're asked how many employees they have, they say that they only have half of the employees. And according to Ben Simonton, management consultant, turned on people figure out how to beat the competition, but turned off people they only complain about being beaten by the competition. So you realize the difference between a turned on employee, an engaged employee, and a turned off employee. The statistics of workforce engagement are shocking. This is according to Gallup Management Journal Semi-Annual Employee Engagement Index. We are told, according to the survey, that 29% of employees are actively engaged. 54% of the employees in any organization, they are not engaged. And 17% are actively disengaged. So the employee index might be varying from one company to the other, but we realize that the non-engaged employees are many, according to the index. The challenge of managers comes when the first sign of disengaged appears to the actively engaged employee. In this, the symptom needs to be addressed immediately by having a meaningful conversation with the employee, and spend most of your time with the productive employee and talented employee, because they have the potential of the organization at hand. How would you handle engaged employees? Not engaged employees, sorry. Not engaged employees tend to concentrate on tasks rather than the goals and the outcomes. In some articles, they refer to them as employee satisfaction, the satisfied employees, sorry. They want to be what they just say. They only want to do what they're told to do, as in their task. They can't go beyond that and finish it. That's all they want to do in a day. They're the 8 to 5 employees who only come at 8 because they're told come at 8 and leave at 5. They focus on accomplishing tasks versus achieving outcomes. Employees who are not engaged tend to feel their contributions are being overlooked by their potential supervisors, and they feel their potential are not tapped. They feel this because they don't have productive relationship with their managers or with their co-workers. And managers can help such employees to focus on the demand of their roles and on the skill, knowledge, and talent they bring to the job. You may have to take time to dialogue with such employees, with not engaged employees, are being overlooked by their potential supervisors, and they feel their potential are not tapped. They feel this because they don't have We are having many voices from behind. Somebody unmute, please.
Okay, naingia tu kwa mkutano sasa.
Mute, please.
Okay, all the best.
You have to take time to dialogue with such employees, not engaged employees. Actively disengaged employees aren't happy about their work. They act out of their discontent. They have seed of negativity at every opportunity. Those are actively disengaged employees. They undermine the work of others. Ideally, actively disengaged employees have this negative energy that they bring to the organization. They are indifferent to company goals and missions. They express mistrust and outright animosity. As workers increasingly rely on each other to generate product and services, the problem is that the tensions that are fostered by actively disengaged workers can cause great damage to the whole organization. According to Gallup organization, it estimates that there are 22 million actively disengaged employees in American economy, and the economy loses about $350 billion per year in lost productivity, including absenteeism and other problems when workers are unhappy. A good manager will identify those who are disengaged, and they will try talking them. But if they're repeatedly talked to and they don't change, and they don't want to appreciate, if they refuse to engage again, termination may be the last option for actively disengaged employees. But it should be the last option after you've tried all the other avenues. We have employee engagement key performance indicators. The performance indicators for employee engagement, key performance indicators are sick leave and absenteeism, performance versus productivity. Engaged employees make more money, do better work, contribute to our business goals. So an engaged employee will give it, you will use the performance or productivity key performance indicator to gauge the employees' engagement. Mobile adoption rates of our employees. You find that many companies are now getting into technology and identifying technology that will help them monitor the engagement of employees. You find that many companies' employees are working, especially during this pandemic, they're working out of the office, away from the office at home. And this mobile technologies are able to be used by different companies as supervisor to monitor the employees' engagement. Turnover rate, this is the rate at which employees leave the organization. This is also another indicator of employee engagement. A disengaged employee will definitely leave the company at one point or the other. Overall employee satisfaction. We will realize down somewhere that satisfaction and engagement are two different things. A satisfied employee is equivalent to a disengaged employee. They only work for what they're given, they don't go beyond. Another indicator is return on investment. We will go to difference between engaged and satisfied employee. Please mute. Can I continue? A satisfied employee likes the job very much. They like the job very much, and they have zero intention to leave. And they do only what is necessary. That is a satisfied employee. Remember, they like their job very much. They have zero intention to leave, so there's nothing you can do to them because they don't want to leave. But they do only what is necessary. They will only focus on their tasks from 8 to 5. That is a satisfied employee. But an engaged employee, on the other hand, goes beyond what is required of them. They intensify their energy to solve problems. They delight customers and reach company goals. The best part is they want to do it. It is in them to go beyond what is expected of them by the company. How do you convert your employee from satisfied or disengaged to engaged for increased productivity? As I explained up there, there's a difference between satisfied employee and engaged employee. And the satisfied employees are the disengaged employees. Those who only measure on their tasks. They only want to accomplish their task as it is set. They're not bothered about achievements or the goals. They only want to do what is set for them from morning to evening, and they're out. So how do you convert the employee from satisfied to engaged for increased productivity? Ask for input. You realize that we are skilled differently, and different employees have skills and capability, but they will not tell you, not unless you reach out, not until you reach out and ask them. Come up with projects, put different employees, ask them to assist and bring their input, and you will turn a disengaged employee to an engaged employee. Also share your vision. Employees are happy when they know where they're coming from and where they're going to. And you will find that most employees who leave organizations, they leave because they don't understand the vision. They don't understand where they're coming from. They don't understand where they're going to. So for you to engage a disengaged employee, kindly share your vision, because everybody wants to know that they're doing it right. And it starts from sharing the vision of the organization. Empower action. More often you find employees have ideas that can be useful out of their roles. It can be useful for the business out of their normal roles, specific roles. You may find an accountant is very, very, very good at project management. And when you give them that opportunity to contribute on the other side and empower them and give them the tools, give them the necessary environment in which they can act in their ideas, they feel engaged. They come up with so many ideas and they feel engaged, as opposed to restricting the employees to their roles and are performing only their duties. As managers, we should remove unnecessary processes or policies that prevent employees from implementing or solving problems. You will find that many companies have systems and structures that even if an employee goes to training and comes with an idea that can be implemented, they're not able to. This is the time the manager should come and remove the unnecessary policies that prevent and process that prevent the implementation of a new idea. Also give employees an opportunity to constructively communicate and comment on ideas that are put on the table and suggestions. Be transparent. Another point, be transparent with your employees. If you want to turn a disengaged employee to engaged employee, be transparent. Remember, employee engagement requires emotional connection that makes employees want to go above and beyond. This type of environment comes with trusting our leaders and the relationship between the employee and the leaders. It is not possible when decisions are made behind bars. You will find that in some organizations, decisions are made at closed doors. So the employees are not aware of what was said and nobody is willing to tell them where they are, where they've come from, the changes that are happening. They only hear rumors, and that is when you get disengaged employees having so many grapevines. So be transparent and tell them exactly what is happening, because trust is built through transparency. Also, carefully acknowledge efforts. Recognize the reward Recognize and reward the effort of others. Make them do it again. And it happens even at work. Even at home, when you recognize an employee and give them a small token, a child and give them a small token, they will do it again. It happens here in employment. Just acknowledge people's efforts. It doesn't have to be financially, and it shouldn't be financially anyway. It should be sincere and timely. If they have achieved something and you realize this is positive now, tell them now. Don't wait until next year, until at the end of the year, just to acknowledge their efforts. And let people know that you're aware of their efforts and contributions. This bit of gratitude goes a long way. You know, you find companies opening different branches, different departments, and you find that the departments are mostly open because of an idea of an employee, an innovative idea of an employee, which they brought to the table that was bought by the company, but the employee is not recognized. They're not even told, look here, we appreciate what you did. This idea, it has made us open this branch, and now we're getting this. Appreciate the employees. Acknowledge their efforts. Another way of turning a dissatisfied employee, disengaged employee to an engaged employee is by providing feedback. One thing that we all are aware about is that lack of feedback is among the top reasons for employees leaving organizations and leaving their jobs. Lack of feedback. Because when nobody tells you what you're meant to do, nobody tells you your targets, nobody corrects you, you find yourself disengaged. And this happens to all our employees. Just acknowledge them and reward those who accomplish beyond expectations. Just acknowledge them, reward them. Provide timely corrections to those who things have gone, they have not performed well. Just provide timely corrections and be frequent and consistent. Not that when you start providing feedback, you fluctuate. This week you give feedback, next week you don't give feedback. Be frequent and consistent. If it is a day for meeting with your employees to inform them and you set them for Monday, make it Monday so that internally they're aware that on Monday we meet so that our manager can give us information. Please give feedback to the employees. Another area that you can use to engage disengaged employees, share results. Share results. When you start working hard, trying to improve the business, show them the impact of their efforts. It is an excellent way of providing feedback. Just show them it is because of your effort that we are where we are. Appreciate what they have done. If they've done marketing and have gone beyond the limit that was set that month, please appreciate them. Share with them the results. Also utilize technology to engage the disengaged employees. It is not always possible today to meet every employee face to face. And we find that in fact, during this pandemic, technology has come. We are having meetings, like now we're having Zoom, it is technology. If it weren't for this pandemic, we'd be somewhere physical. So let employees embrace technology. For companies seeking to develop a sustainable culture of improvement, you must utilize technology. There are so many companies that are having so many systems that are helping employees work at home. And when you provide that technology at home, also provide the means like airtime. How do they access Wi-Fi if you don't provide it? This technology provides an opportunity for all of them to collaborate because you find the MD, the supervisor, the leader, and the employee are in one forum, in a Zoom. So it brings them together. Technology brings them together, and it's also a way of engaging the disengaged employees. Drivers of employee engagement. We find that there are 6 elements that are the most common drivers of employee engagement. An employee who feels they belong will be engaged. An employee who's recognized will be engaged and will do it again. An employee who's given an opportunity to grow and develop. That idea that they brought in, you enhance the idea and you let them grow and develop, will feel engaged. An employee who's optimistic about the vision and future of the organization will remain engaged because initially they have been told and they've been taken through the mission and vision and they have embraced it. Leadership trust your employee. An employee who feels trusted becomes engaged to the organization. And open two-way communication. Do not underestimate communication. Communicate at each level to the employees. What are the leadership actions that employees want from the managers? Managers have a task to engage employees and keep them engaged. While asking them what they want is very, very important. Ask the employees what they want. Ask the employees how they feel about you. Ask the employees how they feel as individuals. Take some actions. I have a few actions here. Focus on the employees, not on them as a group. Try and understand and know your employees as individuals. Know their families. Try to know something about them. Care about the employees. There's work-life balance, and the employees must be come with problems at home. Care about them. Hear the employees. Many times leaders are right that they feel they should be heard, and they should be heard, but not the employee. In employee engagement, it's the other way around. Bottom-up communication is very important. Hear the employee. Help the employees feel proud. Some employees have low self-esteem. Help them feel proud. Help them feel that if it were not for them, they cannot be here. It's a synergy. Equip the employees. Give them the tools that are necessary to achieve their goals. Help the employees review their contributions. If you realize that the employee is underperforming or disengaged, help them to review their contribution and work with them. Have a plan with the employees. Help the employees see their values. You realize that the organizations have values and also the employees have values. Just help them realize that somehow you share the same values and you have to go the same direction. Help the employees grow. An employee who stays in a company for more than 5 years to 10 without having any development strategy, without any development, will definitely feel disengaged. Help the employees grow, take them for trainings, promote them. They will feel engaged and part of the organization. Help the employees see their importance, that they're very important to the organization, that without them, you will lose a resource. And remember, employees are a replaceable resource. Every other resource can be replaced, but me as Lois working as an individual in your company, you may not replace me as me. You will replace the position, but not the employee. So help them feel very important. Help them build mutual trust. Let your actions be actions that employees will build on mutual trust. Challenge the employees. Let it not be common, the things that they do commonly. Give them a challenge, give them a new task. Just challenge them out of the common. And this will impact well on employees. There are 3 measures of organizations' overall performance. These are employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and cash flow. And they go in that order. A disengaged employee will not satisfy a customer, will not serve the customer well. And a customer who's dissatisfied will not bring revenue to the company. So it starts from employee engagement, it goes to customer satisfaction, and then it goes to cash flow. And in concluding, I want to remind all of us that employee engagement is one of the factors that an organization has control over. It is one of the biggest factors and a factor that the organization has the highest control over, because you can control how you engage with the employees. You may not control the economy. You may not control finances at some point, but engagement, you have 100% control over of employees' engagement. To control your employees' engagement, and it goes without saying that no company, small or large, can win over long run without engaged employees who believe in the mission and understand how it is achieved. So employee engagement is very important, and organizations must and must endeavor to engage the employees. They must take it as a strategy. Employee engagement must be a strategy for each organizations that want to improve in their productivity. I want to read a quote as I finish from Kurt Hoffman and Gabriel Gonzalez, that great organizations achieve sustainable growth and profit because they do what other organizations don't. They maximize the innate individual talent of the employees to connect with their customers. They know that tapping the resource of human is the only remaining area where they can improve. And where improvement can and do lead to an ultimate source of competitive advantage. Thank you for listening to me. I take it back to the moderator for any questions.
Thank you so much, CHRP Lois, for taking us through that impressive topic. I believe the members who are here, you actually got what Lois has presented to us. And now at this juncture, I would be able to ask members that we can take around 10 or so minutes so that we ask questions, and not necessarily the presenter response, but any other person who has got an idea can be able to respond. I'll begin with one of, there's a comment here from one of our member, Madam Christine Onim. She says, some employees are naturally negative and don't see the need of growing the organization, and their satisfaction lies in earning salary at the end of the month. How do you turn around such an employee? That is a question posted by Christine, or a comment by Christine. How do you go about this? So I believe Madam Lois, you can be able to just unmute yourself. You respond.
I gave an answer earlier before. Maybe one of the participants can respond. How to handle the actively disengaged. That is an actively disengaged employees. They are naturally negative. They don't see anything good in an organization. They only want to earn and leave. And they talk ill about the organizations. They are there. Talk to them, coach them, try all avenues and ask them, what is it that is, maybe they've come with a problem from home. Maybe there's something somebody did to them in that company that they just feel somebody told them, you can't, you're always useless. Nobody appreciates them. Sit down with them, ask them exactly what is it. Tell them how their attitude is affecting other employees. And if they refuse to change, then just like I said, you may have to take the last option of separating with them, because they will affect the whole organization. That negative drive is very dangerous for productivity. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Lois. I invite any comment again from any other member, a question, a comment, or any addition that you would want to make. Just unmute yourself and say. Do you have anyone who would want to say something? Seemingly none. Probably, Lois, they may have understood you so well, or they may not have understood you so well. It could be either. Any question?
Hello there.
Hi, Purity.
Yeah, it was very precise, very audio. Quite
Please
good.
identify yourself. That's Purity.
I've said it was very audio, very clear, up to date. We thank you for that, Lois.
Thank you so much, Purity.
Great, Purity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please go on, identify yourself. You are unmuted. We thought you wanted to give us a comment or a question, seemingly none. Madam Caroline Enane, do you have something to add to this or a question to pose to us?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Vice Chair, that was very clear. I think I liked it. My take home today was about the difference between engaged and satisfied and employees. You know, some people can be engaged, but they are not satisfied. Yeah, they can just be there waiting for their salary at the end of the month. And I really liked that that the leader or the person in charge or the supervisor needs to actually identify those who are within the organization. They are just playing the motions, but they are not actually satisfied. It's one of the things that the employee satisfaction index. There should be something also in the questionnaire that points out to that, so that you capture the mind of the employee in terms of how they feel. Then you'll know that they are engaged or not, so that you can now put in the necessary action to be able to actually engage them. I really liked it. Thank you so much. And then there is something else about how to engage them so that you can increase the productivity. I liked the points that you gave. They are very simple. Ask for input. Someone feels motivated. It's like you're trying to motivate the employees towards a better place. So these are issues that we use to actually motivate the employees, so that they don't do things as a matter of going through the motions, but they are actually happy to come to the workplace. Thank you very much, Vice Chair. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Sechapi Caroline, for that comment. Any other person who has a comment to give us?
Hello.
Madara, welcome. We can see you.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Lois. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, okay, Jen.
Okay, I joined late, but from where I found, I think it was a very good presentation. I just wanted to comment on the issue of the disengaged employee. And yeah, they are everywhere. They're in many organizations, and they can really make the other people also. They can bring a lot of negative energy. I've learned also sometimes it's good to put them in leadership positions. For example, if there's what is it called? If there's a task force you'd want them to. Hello.
Go on, Jen. We can hear you well.
Oh, okay, sorry. If there's there's an issue that needs to be sorted in an organization, and you have formed a team. Sometimes I've realized, and it has worked for us, if you put them in such positions, you make them lead that group, and then they report, they feel motivated, and then you're like challenging them. These are people who are always complaining, so you're telling them, handle this situation, you're the team lead, and bring your results to the management. And they really work very hard to ensure that they are successful. And moving on, they feel appreciated. Sometimes these employees maybe are feeling demotivated. They are feeling like they are not loved and all that. So when we put them in such high leadership positions and they perform, you have seen a lot of turnaround and they start appreciating themselves, and now they will not even be criticizing those organizations. You know, they'll be working towards ensuring the success. So if you engage them in such positions, I've seen some positive feedback. Thank you, and it was really good, Lois. All the best.
Thank you, dear.
That's great, Jane. There is a comment from one of us, that is John. John is saying that, thank you, Lois. Should staff engagement and staff motivation go along together? So you may mark that for a response. Let me also give you another comment from another member so that you can handle maybe 3 at a go, or any other member. The person is not identified his name, but the question is, can you summarily dismiss any employee who has resigned after committing gross misconduct? I don't know how relevant it is with this engagement of employees, but we can respond to that as well. Then the third one, which I want us to handle before we go to the next, we do face challenges when coming up with coming from Oguda. What do you advise? Sorry, I joined late. So
sorry, repeat the question.
Can handle those. We can handle 3. The last one or the first?
The last one, Mr. Chair.
The last one from Oguda, he says, we do face challenges when coming up with return on investment on employee. What do you advise? And he's saying that he's sorry he joined late.
I will start with the first question. Ideally, staff motivation is part of staff engagement. Can I continue, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, please do.
Staff motivation is one of the actions you can take to turn and actively, remember you have actively disengaged employee and a disengaged employee, to turn a disengaged employee to an engaged employee. Disengaged employees are these employees who just feel they have to work from 8 to 5, and that's it. I have done my work. It was sweeping. When they sweep, they sit down. Why? All the rooms are swept. They can't go any extra. Even if I find something fallen somewhere, they cannot pick it because they did what is expected of them. And indeed, motivation, it is a factor to be considered in employee engagement. And a motivated employee, just like I said earlier, if you motivate an employee, which doesn't have to be financial, it can be a pat at the back. Just tell them you've done it well this time round. You know, I already feel motivated because some of you have said, wow, I've tried. And that also trickles down to employees. Motivate them. Tell about them before other employees. It is because of so and so that we have done this. Just motivate them. So it should go hand in hand with employee engagement. And if you have to correct them, also do it in private. Corrections are better administered in private. But the motivation bit of it is better administered in public. Just tell them where the other people are, that this you did well. It is one of the major factors that turn a disengaged employee to an engaged employee. Can you imagine an employee who's not been performing for 2 consecutive performance reviews? And this time round, you tell them, wow, Jane, you did well. This time round, you made it to 70 mark. They will feel motivated to attain that 70 every now and again. So yes, I would say motivation should go hand in hand with employee engagement. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Lois. Did you manage the last one, the third question, which was talking about challenges coming up with return on investment on employee?
Just repeat the question, please.
Oguda was asking that we do face challenges when coming up with return on investment on employee. What would be the advice?
I think employees are an irreplaceable resource. Yeah, they are an irreplaceable resource, and motivating them will really spark that return on investment. When you're having challenges with the return on investment on employees, you must check the engagement ratio. Are you having a actively disengaged employee? Are you having a disengaged employee? What are the percentages of your disengaged vis-a-vis actively disengaged? Because you may find some companies, the actively disengaged are even more than the disengaged. You realize from the index there, the disengaged were 54%, and the actively disengaged were 70%. If you are in a company where the actively disengaged is vis-a-vis, is maybe 50, and disengaged are maybe 20, definitely the return on investment will be zero. And you may not be able to achieve all that you want in as much as you've taken them for training, and you've not done some other things. You cannot only measure on training employees while you leave some other issues underlying. Your relationship with them is horrible. You don't appreciate them. You don't communicate to them. And you were told that you've taken them for training, now you want your return on investment. I think we need to work on some other areas in order to realize what we expect on return on investment. Ogude, I hope I answered you, and any other member here can contribute on that.
I think what Lois has said is very correct, because when you talk about return on investment per employee and you find that an employee is disengaged, that in essence means the productivity for this particular employee is very low. And therefore, the expenditure you incur on this employee compared to the returns the employee is bringing in is so big. So when you want to measure that return on investment of the employee when the person is disengaged, we'll find that the return on investment is quite low, because the person is quite disengaged with the employer. I think that is quite correct, Lois. Can I also go on and pose maybe or read the other comments or questions?
Yes, please.
The other one is, how do you manage very creative and dependable click employees who for no articulated reason start to disengage, notwithstanding the open and transparent atmosphere in the work environment? Then the other one from CHRP Dorcas is, in a scenario where the supervision is disengaged, what can the employee under him do on and feel? Then Oguda is also asking once more again, what factors do we measure in an employee survey? In an employee survey, get the how engaged the employer. I don't know what that question is not well framed, because I can't understand what he's asking. What factors do we measure in an employee survey? Get the how engaged the employee, and maybe if he's getting us, he can be able to reframe the question so that we understand him better. Oguda, reframe that last question. We'll come to it as Lois tackles the other two questions posed. So the first question here, how do you manage very creative and dependable click employee who for no articulated reason starts to disengage, notwithstanding the open and transparent atmosphere? Then the other next one was, in a scenario where the supervision is disengaged, what can the employee under him do and feel? Lois?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When an engaged employee starts getting disengaged, it worries. This is a very productive employee. This is one employee, when they walk out of the gate, they will walk up with so much ideas about the company and so much resources that you've invested in them. And when they start getting disengaged, the manager should take immediate action. Sit down with them, talk to them. Probably the problem is not at work. We have so much problems. Some even come from home and they carry it, and because they're not having anybody to open up to. Probably you don't have a counselor there. Get somebody who can talk to them so that they can open up and assist them to come from, use the other methods that we used to bring them from disengaged to engaged. There must be a problem with the employee who was very engaged and now all of a sudden starts getting disengaged and they become uninterested. There's definitely a problem. And you can compare that with home. If you have an active child who just goes quiet all of a sudden, there must be a problem, and it takes somebody who understands and somebody who can able to listen. That's why I said you must listen to them. Listen more than what they're saying. Look at them. Even from looking at me, you're able to listen to some things. Get out some things from them that they're not saying and talk to them. Try counseling them, coach them. Try all means to bring them back. And if they're not open to you, please get another person who can talk to them. Mention to them how much they have achieved and how much they've helped the company and what their silence or their sleeping back is causing the company. So my answer would be engage them. Engage them more often. Do not give them space. Today, ask them. Tomorrow, be with them. Another day, challenge them. Just be with them until they realize, oh, I was sleeping off and I need to come back to the right path. I hope I answered you.
Very well put, Madam Lois. The other question which you are supposed to tackle is the same as what Madam CHRP Dorcas Anyango has asked. So this other question which I see is similar is coming from John Otieno, and the question is, during this tough economic condition that has been brought about by COVID-19 pandemic, high taxes, union pressure, how can junior employee motivate their demotivated or disengaged director? So the question that was asked by Dorcas is the same as that, which was saying, in a scenario where the supervision is disengaged, what can the employee under him do and feel? So maybe you can answer that at a go, because they look to me the same.
They are the same. This is a reverse. You know, we are encouraged to motivate and engage our disengaged, employees. And this is the time you find that it is the top manager who is disengaged. That is very dangerous for the organization. But ideally, the employees should find somebody who's very close to the manager, because they're all human beings. And at one point or the other, everybody has their lowest point and their highest point. Find out one of the managers who is very close to your top manager or the MD, because these stresses are real, the high taxes are real. There are things have changed with COVID. There are things they never used to do, but they are doing it now. They are overstretching. Find somebody who's close to them, to talk to them, to talk them off. Because if you leave them, when they sleep down, you sleep all of you. He may choose to close the company, but it is somebody who talk them over. Let that person suggest even a holiday for them to go rest and come, because these things will not change. C19 is here with that. It will never change. So we have to really accept that we are here with it. But we need to do something to adapt to C19 and all the catastrophes that happen. So my answer would be get somebody to talk to them. Probably they're not realizing that they're sleeping. They're sleeping down or they're getting disengaged. Get somebody to wake them up and say, look here, sir, we are seeing these days you're doing 1, 2, and 3. We are concerned. And get somebody who can really talk to them well or who they can understand. Don't get that junior kabisa, who when they see, probably they're the people who don't really appreciate being talked to by juniors. Get somebody who can talk to them. In each and every company, there must be somebody who can talk to the CEO and they understand. So that would be my answer, but I welcome all the answers from the team members.
Maybe I can add something.
Yeah.
I hope
Yes.
it's okay. Yes. Now, there's a certain
Yes, Madam
company.
Carol.
There was a certain company which had very disengaged managers. And so what this company did, what the HR did, they introduced the 360 performance tool in addition to the regular tool that was there. The change that was seen in these managers was tremendous, because you see you are disengaged from this from the subordinates you're supposed to be supervising. And so the 360 degrees means that they have to appraise you. And for them to appraise you, then you have to be engaged with them. So it really turned around everybody else just by the introduction of the 360 as an additional tool at the end of the year for appraising the employees. It really changed the attitude of both the employees because they are all at different levels of authority, and also the managers. It was quite a tremendous change. So I think introduction of the 360 sometimes can really help.
Thank you, Karen.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so go on.
Yes, good afternoon, all of us.
Millie, hold on kidogo, let Ogudha go on. CHRP, Millie, hold on, let Ogudha continue.
Okay, thank you, Millicent. We could have let you go first, but then he has been given the chance by the chair. Now, Lois, thank you very much. This is Nelson Ogudha, and my question, I think I just left the word true. So I was asking in terms of evaluation, because mine is much on the measurability. I wanted to get it from you directly that what factors do we measure in an employee engagement survey that we dish out to our employees to fill in so that we can know, or the one that you'll be filling at your own pleasure by just observing the employee's behavior. So what factors do we measure? What factors do we look at an employee to say this one is likely to be an engaged or disengaged employee? Yes, that's my submission in the same.
Thank you, Madam Lois. You can respond to that before we, Millie.
Thank you so much, Nelson, for your question, and thank you for joining all the way from Mombasa. Some of the factors that you can use to measure a disengaged employee is reporting time. This employee who reports late and always gives myriad of answers. I was late, I was rained up, I fell down, I don't know, our vehicle was held by the police. Every day there must be an excuse. Every day, that is a disengaged employee. There's no day that they don't have an excuse for that one question. Why do you come late? They must give excuses here and there. Also sick leave. An employee who's always absent, always sick. Always sick is an indicator of a disengaged employee. Probably feeling boring, because when they come to work, they feel so much boring. You find some employees on a Monday, they feel like they're being taken to the hospital. It is horrible. And they would rather go on sick leave than be at work. That is a disengaged employee. Also absenteeism. If the number of days, in measuring absenteeism, the number of days that is expected of an employee, they really outweigh in a month. That is a disengaged employee. You need to sit down with them. Some of the factors are productivity. An employee who was always productive. And now when you're measuring their engagement, productivity is one of the parameters that you would use. Are they productive? Why is the productivity going low? During performance appraisal, you realize that this employee is not productive. Or when they're given tasks, at the end of the day, especially when it is piecemeal, at the end of the day, what they were doing 1 month ago is not what they're achieving now. That is a disengaged employee. Mobile adoption is also another area. I had mentioned this, and I think Ogudha, you are not in when I was mentioning. There's also mobile adoption rate of our employees. You find that during this corona pandemic, many companies have adapted technology for employees to work at home, and they're monitored. You will find that the system, some employees will never appear in the system. They don't appear, and when they appear, they just click once. So you find that they're not engaged. Even when you call for a meeting, that is the time, and always the network is not stable. The network is, they have an excuse here and there. They don't want to adapt to the new technology, and this is the norm. So they have to adapt to it. And the turnover rate. We had mentioned earlier that turnover rate should not be a measure of productivity, but indeed it is a measure of engaged staff. Because you find if you use turnover rate to measure productivity, you may not get the right answer, because you may find that you have 20 of disengaged employees leaving and one engaged. Maybe you may have one engaged employee leaving and you have 20 disengaged employees. Will your productivity go up? Already you're messed up. If you measure the turnover rate for productivity, turnover rate can be used to engage employees. A disengaged employee will leave, but turnover rate may not be used as of now for productivity, because you'd rather have this one person who's highly engaged other than having 20 of disengaged employees. The productivity will not go anywhere. So the turnover rate is also another indicator, and overall employee satisfaction. We mentioned the difference between satisfaction and engagement. A satisfied employee only does his task. From 8 to 5, they do what they should be doing every day. They cannot go beyond. But an engaged staff is energized. They really want to go beyond. They even act as shareholders. They want to work late and to achieve their roles. not the tasks. So that is also a measure, and also a return on investment, like you mentioned. It is a measure of employee engagement. Thank you, Nelson. I hope I answered you.
That's great, Madam Secretary Lois, for the splendid explanation regarding that. This juncture, I would want to ask Madam Millie to shoot a question or a comment. Then I'll ask 2 or more persons also to give a comment or question, then we close. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Millie, go
Tim.
ahead.
Thank you so much, Tim. I'm very much impressed with what our sister has just shared with us. It is indeed an eye-opener for some of us even today. You can reflect back and see, are you one of the disengaged, or are you engaged? And even if you are disengaged, now you know where you can start from. And when you are disengaged, you know where to start from. I didn't have much. I only wanted to add into what CHRP and Anne added on the disengaged, how you can bring on board the disengaged boss, because this is the person that is expected to drive the business of an institution. And there are a lot of expectations that even the junior staff are looking into this person's eye, that at the end of the day, this is the person that needs to motivate us. This is the person that we look into. So this is the person that will take us, will drive us from A to B. What I wanted to add is that we need to increase involvement in collaboration programs within his docket. So for instance, if we have something that is cutting across, like for HR, the cross-cutting programs like we can say gender mainstreaming activities, HIV mainstreaming, sexual harassment mainstreaming. We could get him involved in such activities so that he gets engaged and realize these are issues that are cutting across, and during those forums, we can give him more opportunity to share his experiences on those cross-cutting activities within an institution. Another one is to tap into the prevailing opportunities that may make him engaged. For instance, you may have such a kind of a forum that you had today as a chair, and you invite your CEO to be part of this forum. This would make him get some information that can increase in his engagement or our engagement in an institution. So for me, it's also one of the ways that you can also bring our colleagues, our bosses, when we have such forums, just virtually or physically, we can also be bringing them on board, so that inviting them so that they can also get to hear from our colleagues what other institutions are doing, what is best for us, best practice in HR generally. And also we should ensure that we create a culture of awareness all the time, wherever we are in the institution. I'm glad what Lois said, that even our CEOs are not islands. They're part of us. They experience what we are experiencing. It's just that they are in high level of jobs in an institution. So there's need for us to also create a culture that we create awareness even to their levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Millicent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam CHRP Millicent, for that contribution and vivid explanations regarding, and also noting that Lois has emphasized the fact that the people we look unto are also just natural human beings, that when they have problems, what do we do? Because usually we look unto them like the CEO, we look unto them to give us the motivation. What about an instance where them themselves are demotivated? Where do we get this instance? Thank you for that explanation. I would want to invite the last 1 or 2 persons, if they have anything to add onto what so far we have said before we close. Any other person who has anything to add? If there is none, I would be able to thank you so much for participating in our 2 days forum. Interestingly, we had planned it and it coincided with the holiday that was announced last week by the minister. However, I'm glad that you people have taken your time and braved the day, and you'll be able to join us. For those who are going for the celebrations, I tend to think we have finished in good time, and we can have our time and help our brothers celebrate Eid Mubarak. Otherwise, thank you so much. You can leave at your and have a nice holiday. See you next when we organize the next one.
Thank you,
I appreciate you, Madam Vice Chair Lois, for that presentation. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Unajua kwa nini?